Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Thulkus, and it's time for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 3, Adar. Adar? Uh, I'm sorry. That's what I was thinking when I read the name there. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos. My vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you feel like gambling or you just feel lucky, you can hit that bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. So go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I have it up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. So I have like Facebook there. There's a Facebook group page too where you guys can chat amongst yourselves, all that kind of stuff. You guys can post stuff too. For those of you who still have Facebook, things like that. All right, let's get started, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Giving you enough time to hit pause, run away, whatever you're going to do. All right. All right. So we spend pretty much most of our time here between now I just all of a sudden I blanked on his name. Halbrand, Galadriel, and what happened to them. Also, what's happened with and I'm just blanking on his name too. God, Arendar. Since he was taken hostage by the elves, and a little bit about the Harfoots. I mean, the Harfoots is just kind of a footnote. We get nothing else out of this episode other than that, which is fine because there was a lot of stuff that was actually imparted to us on this. So Halbrand and Galadriel, Gabriel Galadriel. There we go. That's how I actually had to remember it. Galadriel. So Galadriel and Gabriel have been rescued by a ship, and she doesn't know if it's a good ship or a bad ship, and the captain really won't tell them where they're going until they get there. And even when they're there, they won't really say where they're at. And then she's looking, and they're like, and it's like no other place. It's not like anything in Middle Earth. It's humans live there, but it's very advanced. And she deduces that it's Numenor. So Numenor is the island that was gifted by the elves to the humans that fought with the elves against Morgoth. And of course, help them out. They actually traded technologies, wisdom, all that kind of stuff. And then suddenly the humans cut off the elves for some reason. No one knows why, just that's what happened. So there are no elves there except for her. And the queen isn't too happy about this. And all Galadriel wants to do, she wants to leave. She wants to get over to Middle Earth, to the Southlands, to find out what the fuck is going on, because she's fairly sure that Sauron's back, and all hell's about to break loose. And the queen's like, no, fuck that. You're not leaving. You're not taking one of our boats. And there's almost a fight that ensues, but Halbrand actually, calms things down and says, why don't you guys talk about it for 3 days? Think about it. And then you can get back to us. And we'll just remain here as your guests for a little while. So the captain that ends up that saved them, of course, ends up being the one to look over Galadriel, and it's his name is Elendil, and Elendil is a elven name, and it means friend of the elves. Once he starts talking to Galadriel, he finds out that she finds out that there's a library that the elves had made, and it's one of the libraries that did not get destroyed once the elves were banished from Numenor. And because his king, or in his part of the land, I guess he says, fought against it and said, nope, not going to happen. So she ends up looking for, Sauron's sigil that he has, the that trident kind of thing, and finds out it's not a trident. It's actually the contingency plan if Morgoth dies. So this is the land in Middle Earth. It's in the Southlands. That's where the orcs are supposed to go and regroup in mass, and they're going to take over the rest of Middle Earth with Sauron at this point. So now she realizes, holy shit, the Southlands are going to be, really fucked at this point if I don't get back. And Elendil is like, okay, maybe I should help you, kind of thing. And he's a sea captain, of course, at this point. And he has his own problems too. He has two kids, Ilsadar and Aaron. And Ilsadar is going to become a sailor, if you will. He's got 9 days until he takes his test, but he doesn't want to do it. And Aaron has just been accepted into the Builders Guild. So they're going their own separate ways at this point, and he might be going his own separate way as well with this elf here and going over to Middle Earth. And all of this, Galadriel finds out that Halbrand is actually a king, and that little bag that he wears around his neck with the little um, sigil on it. She finds out through the library that that's actually the sigil of a king from Middle Earth there in the Southlands. And she says, hey, the Southlands are fucked. You need to come with me because we need to raise an army. And this is where we need to go. So that's where they're heading at this point. In the meantime, we have Arendare. He has been kidnapped he's been captured by the orcs. And also Watchwarden Revian, who was his boss, of course, is there as well with a couple of other elves that have been captured. And basically, the orcs are forcing them to dig. They're digging trenches through the Southland and then covering them over. So, of course, the orcs don't get burned by the sunlight. So, the orcs, of course, are sensitive to sunlight. And they, of course, are trying to make their break for it, of course. And yeah, it doesn't go too well. Even though they have a plan, Watchwarden Revian gets out. He gets killed by some arrows at the top, and Arendare gets taken back into the trench and gets his ass kicked. So, yeah, not much is going on there. Although we do get someone named Adar, who it's an elven name, and might be Sauron at this point. And all we get is a blurry view of this Adar stepping out of the shadows because they said they're going to bring Arendar to Adar instead of killing him. So, because of course he tried to escape. So that's what's going on there. And I agree with you, Joe. There were some really good action sequences here. Raymond says, I don't know what it is about Lord of the Rings, but I always fall asleep to it. I never catch the ending. This was actually pretty good, Raymond. I have to admit, I usually fall asleep at these things too, and this one kept me awake. And with the Harfoots, we get ready to have a migration happen, and the Harfoots are pretty ruthless, man. I mean, they're like, you got a broken leg? Fuck you. We're going to leave you behind. If you can't make it, too bad. Bye bye. We'll write you down in the list of the names of left behinds. And yeah, so it's pretty brutal at that point. The stranger, that's what his name is, the stranger, the human that came down in that meteorite, kind of fucks things up during the last ceremony, and Nori gets found out that she's been helping him, and also that she stole a star chart in order to get him home. And according to the Harfoot law, what she did basically means that she becomes uncaravaned, that she gets tossed out of the group and doesn't get to follow anymore. But luckily, the leader of the tribe there, Sadak Burrows, says, nope, she's young. We're gonna give her another chance as long as they can catch up. But their group ends up Brandyfoot's are at the back of the line, the back of the caravan there. And of course, they're having a hard time keeping up until the stranger shows up, and they're going to use him to help pull their wagon because, of course, he looks gigantic compared to them being small. and can help them, and if he wants to help as well. Do I think the stranger is Gandalf? Uh, Maybe. I don't know. He didn't sit on his hand, and I know what you're talking about, the Phantom Stranger. No, he didn't do it. Um, it could be Gandalf. We don't know. So this takes place thousands of years before, of course, Lord of the Rings, and I don't know how old Gandalf is at that point in Lord of the Rings, but you know, there you have it. So these Harfoots have to be proto hobbits at this point, is what I'm thinking, because they have the hair on their feet and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what they are, as a proto hobbits. He could be Gandalf. I don't know, but that's where we leave off on this episode. We have some movement along, with the story, because now we know that the orcs are actually there. We don't know who the fuck Adar is, because we don't even know what he looks like, because he was blurry when he was coming in. He could be Sauron. He could be somebody else. We know that there is another land out there that's much more advanced for the humans in Numenor. And how do they figure into all this, the fight that is to come, when they are having their own internal strife as to, I guess, the king that liked the elves and was friendly to the elves had been ousted and is now in a tower. So they have some kind of civil war going on as well, but it's a very quiet civil war that's happening. So yeah, lots of stuff going on, and we'll see where we go next week. So fairly interesting, and a lot of action too. And it's an hour-long episode, so an hour and 9 minutes is where it was at. And I believe we have 8 episodes is what we've got going on here. Let me just make sure that that's what we have happening here. Yes, 8 episodes is what we have going on. So not too shabby. And I'm liking it so far. It's not bad. And they're not, they could have hit us over the head with a lot more lore, I guess you could say, of stuff, and they're not doing that, which is good for a TV show that you're introducing, that maybe people don't know, haven't read the books, maybe not even have seen the movies, the Peter Jackson movies, uh, and just don't follow The Hobbit or anything like that. And that's where you kind of want this to be. You want this to be a learning experience for your audience that's coming along, as well as, I guess, throwing tidbits to your fan, not tidbits, but giving enough for your hardcore fans too to follow along as well. Raymond says they also got an actor who looks like a young Viggo Mortensen. Also, the CGI wolf hedgehog looked kind of uncanny. I kind of like the warg. The warg was just weird looking when he did the weird, when his jaw almost unhinged, when you first see him, and he kind of goes hi, and his eyes bug out, like almost pop out of his head. I thought that was actually kind of cool. I almost used that as a thumbnail, but I couldn't find a really good picture of it that was going to be that was going to fit properly. So instead I used an orc. Yeah. And I couldn't really tell if the orcs were actually using other orcs for labor as well or not. It looked like they did have some orcs that were being used for labor, but they were mainly using humans and elves. The humans that they had, gotten from the villages that they dug under. So we know what happened to those humans that, the villages that were destroyed by the orcs underneath it. So they just took the humans, and they're using them for most likely food and also for work as well. So yeah, not bad. Actually, the screams in that were pretty. I have surround sound, and whoever did the scream editing to the surround sound stereo speakers did a fucking good job. Because I mean, the screams would come out like different places. I'm like, oh crap, that's actually pretty good. So they did a good job on that one, I have to admit. So good job all the way around. I mean, you see where they're spending this money. They're spending the money on the CGI. They are spending the money on the sets. This is a big production going on, and I could see why they canceled Paper Girls, because they need to pay for this somehow. But there you have it. So looking forward to next week's episode, and we'll see where they go with that. Hopefully we go back to the dwarves, and then also Bronwyn, what's going on with her and Theo, since Theo has the Sword of Sauron, and that's what the orcs are looking for. The orcs are looking for the Sword of Sauron. That's why they're digging as well. So they're digging, looking for the sword, but they are also making their way through the Southlands to shore up their defenses. Raymond says, "Do you think they were trying to tell us a message about colonialist America with the slave?" I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it was just the orcs being dickheads like they are. So there you go. So what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow I am off. Sunday, hopefully, will be the Sunday edition of Saturday morning blast off, where I take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Monday will be House of the Dragon. That's the other fantasy show that's going on. House of the Dragon on Monday. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it will be Pinocchio on Disney Plus. That's the Pinocchio movie on Disney Plus. Wednesday, I'll be off. Thursday will be a double header again, or the Shevening with She-Hulk and Harley Quinn. And then, of course, Friday rolls back around again to The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. So that just kind of rolls off the tongue, does it not? They need to really shorten that shit up and, make it better. Anyway, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you to everyone who joined me tonight in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. It's one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button and the share button before you take off. You know who you are. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the night. Thank you, everyone. I will see you again on Sunday. So have a good start to your weekend. And until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may try and chop down that tree in order to see where the tree line is and where you're at, but watch out for the archers, because that's what the orcs get you. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Sunday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well, because they don't work without the boosters. And I will see you on Sunday. Have a good rest of your night, and have a good Saturday as well. Thanks, everyone. Good night.